Charles Kupchan is a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and professor of international affairs at Georgetown University. He joins us now from Maryland in the US. Good to have you with us, Professor. There's been months of speculation, as we know, about a major Ukrainian counteroffensive, but Kiev still hasn't explicitly said whether or not it's begun. But from what we're hearing from various Ukrainian and Russian officials, do you believe it's underway?
It looks like it is the beginning of the offensive. For several weeks now, we've seen Ukrainian attacks on logistical supply lines in eastern Ukraine and Crimea, in southern Russia. Now we have what appears to be a probe in Donetsk, the southern part of Donetsk region. We don't yet have reports of a major effort in the south, which is where we expect to see the main line of Ukraine's effort. But it does look like we're now in the beginnings of what will soon be Ukraine's major effort to take back land over the course of this fighting season.
We know Ukraine has received more and more military support from its allies in the lead-up to this long-awaited counter-offensive, including those Patriot missiles from the United States. But Kiev, of course, wants more, including fighter jets. But what are you expecting from Ukraine's counterattack? Will it succeed?
Well, Ukraine has pretty much everything that it has been waiting for. And the most important items here are the tanks, the armored vehicles, other kinds of weapons that will be needed in the maneuver warfare that we're likely to see in the south, in Zaporizhia and in Kherson provinces. Are the Ukrainians going to make some advances? For sure. How much territory will they succeed in taking back? Very difficult to say. It's important to keep in mind that the Russians have had months to dig in. They have several lines of defense. To break through the Russian defenses, Ukraine is going to have to mass its troops to look for areas of vulnerability where they can break through. When they mass their troops, they become more easily identified targets for the Russians. So this is going to be a difficult fight. It's going to be a bloody fight. At this point, I'm not expecting to see a Ukrainian victory. If that means the expulsion of Russian troops, we'll have to wait and see just how far they get in taking back territory.
Talk to us more about Russia's defense, because we know the defense ministry has said that it's managed to thwart Kiev's recent attacks. Do you believe that claim? And how prepared is Moscow in terms of pushing back against a Ukrainian counteroffensive?
Well, in Donetsk, things are a little bit more fluid. The Russians very recently succeeded in taking Bakhmut. They haven't yet had time to prepare lines of defense. We don't know what happened over the last 24 hours. The Ukrainians have said they've advanced about a mile and a half. The Russians say they blocked it. Let's wait for the facts to clear. That's not the case in the south, where we've had a fairly static line since the Ukrainians took back the city of Kherson. And we have seen the Russians put up trenches, tank defenses, in-depth fortifications. And that does suggest that this is going to be a difficult fight. It may be that the Ukrainians, by launching an offensive in the north, are trying to distract attention, to pull Russian troops to the north. But I do think we will see the main part of the fighting begin sometime in the next week or two, concentrated on breaking the land bridge that connects Crimea to Russia through Donbass. If they can break that land bridge, then they can pose a military threat to both Crimea and to points north. I think that's going to be their main military objective.
Okay, Professor Charles Kupchan, we'll have to leave it there, but great to get your analysis as always. Thank you.